from the record that's before the court that the search warrants that were used here may have had copies out there, but there also was an original that was properly signed and executed. The only issue that is of concern to this court at this point is whether or not the absence of a notary seal is defective, a defect that defeats the search warrant itself. And
Your Honor,
no, I'm talking. Not going to argue anymore.
I'm not arguing, I just wanted to, you missed out on one key point.
The issue about whether there's a seal on a notary's signature or not is confusing on this record. Because if there was an original document that had a seal on it, the copy that's of the search warrant that's relevant in this case in the file, we can't see anything. We don't see any shadow of an embossment. We don't see an embossment. We don't see a stamp, certainly. If there was something there that didn't get preserved because it got scanned into a system, we don't know. So we have to assume that it wasn't stamped. It wasn't embossed, okay? Because no one's produced the original of the document, which I can put my fingers on and rub my fingers across and feel the embossment of a notary seal. So we accept the fact, based on the record here, that the search warrant notary signature did not have a seal, okay? Because no one's produced the original document to show that it had a seal. I think that's something that, you know, the people involved here, particularly the clerk's office, ought to be more cognizant of, because if a scanned document's not preserving the whole record, then they're required to keep the whole record, in my opinion, especially if there's something that might be challenged later like this, where there's a search warrant that doesn't have a seal. However, I'm not certain that that's a defect. The statute itself, 968:22, states as follows: no evidence seized under a search warrant shall be suppressed because of technical irregularities not affecting the substantial rights of the defendant. And I'm looking at the letter that's been submitted, the letter memo submitted to the court by Ms. Johnson, from the Walworth County DA's office, which cites cases where search warrants have been upheld where the affidavit wasn't even signed by the affiant, where there was testimony in the record showing that the affiant thought that they had signed it and made a mistake and overlooked it, but that the affidavit they authored was true and correct. The facts were true. They forgot to sign it, and courts have found those to be basically not defective, but not affecting the substantial rights of the defendant. Clearly, if a signature is missing and doesn't affect the substantial rights of the defendant when not provided, certainly when a notary signs something, presumably the person's sworn to it, but presumably, certainly a notary forgetting to put a stamp on a document is in fact not something which affects the substantial rights of Mr. Barker or defendant. So I'm satisfied that that is not a defect which defeats the validity of the search warrant. So I will find that this search warrant used here and all search warrants referenced in this record are valid, and that based on those grounds, the motion to dismiss should be denied. Regarding spoliation, certainly that is an issue in a case where evidence is lost and not maintained. In this case, there were 3 statements, I believe, that were recorded or attempts to make recordings of them were made. And again, the law is clear. Just because a recording was made and may be lost doesn't defeat a case. We have to look at what the recording was of. We have to look at what the recording contained. And clearly, the state's only required to produce what's referred to as exculpatory evidence. They don't have to maintain other evidence that may not be exculpatory to defense. That has some bearing on this issue. Here we have, there's an April 23rd Golden interview. That copy apparently was provided. There's an August 21st Golden interview. The Sheriff's Department had the equipment to record on that date, but they turned it on and thought it was initiated to make a recording. They saved to a DVR and then put on a disc. But the DVR is no longer in that room. Disposed of, the whereabouts were unknown. They asked the lieutenant of administration whether there was tape or not. And the evidence custodian was unable to locate it, and the person Golden is available to testify. So there is exculpatory evidence in that matter, I believe, because Golden testified that Mr. Parker had no knowledge of this. In a general sense, that's the general content of the interview. So that would be potentially exculpatory, but it's not. It doesn't matter here if, in fact, Golden is available to testify, and I believe that person is available and can be subpoenaed and was listed as a witness here. And then there's a third one, which is Mr. Barker's interview, that he indicated he didn't want to speak to deputies, which doesn't contain any incriminatory evidence or exculpatory evidence. You simply exercise your right not to talk to deputies. So with respect to those items and the loss of some of that, where I believe in one instance there was a cell phone used, which was old technology and didn't work, which was an error. But again, I'm satisfied that there isn't any violation of Mr. Barker's discovery rights based upon the fact that the evidence that may have been lost isn't exculpatory, and if it was exculpatory, the person who was the maker of the statement saying Mr. Barker wasn't involved is the person who's available in person to be subpoenaed, and if that becomes an issue, we can deal with that in the course of trial.
Did you ever attempt to interview Mr. Barker?
Yes.
And are you aware of that recording not being available?
I am not aware of that.
Are you aware of any reasons why a recording might not be available?
We were having trouble with our system at the time.
And do you have that same system now?
At the LEC,
Yes.
I'm not sure if we do or not. I haven't been down there in a few years. We work out at a patrol station now.
At LEC, you're referencing the Law Enforcement Center across the street.
Yes.
You're based now in a different location.
Yes.
When you conduct an interview that's supposed to be recorded, do you also document that in your police report?
Yes.
And did you document in your police reports that you spoke with the defendant?
Yes.
And in addition to speaking to the defendant, did you obtain, or did someone from your department obtain Facebook records?
Yes.
And have you had an opportunity to review those Facebook records?
Yes.
And did you find any connections between the defendant and Mr. Golden in those Facebook records?
Yes.
And specifically, what connections did you locate?
A couple pictures on Mr. Barker's Facebook page of Joshua Golden.
Jason, please report those pictures, please. Where is that? That's those pictures, where you got it. kid, that's Simeon.
Okay, well, we'll have a chance to ask you questions.
Thank you. Your Honor, I would request permission to approach the witness.
Okay.
Investigator Vandervest, I'm going to hand you what's been marked Exhibit 78 and Exhibit 79. Can you tell me if you recognize these exhibits and how you're able to do so?
The first one's a Facebook photo. It's got Crystal Burnell, Mr. Barker, and Josh Golden, as well as a few other people at a party.
And how are you able to recognize this exhibit?
Off of Josh Golden's Facebook page.
Right, and the next exhibit, number 79?
It's blurry. It does appear to be Josh Golden.
And same question, where does this exhibit come from? Or how are you familiar with it?
This came off of Mr. Barker's Facebook page as well.
Your Honor, I would ask that Exhibit 78, 79 be received.
Let me see that again, so I can name everybody in that photo.
Well, you'll have a chance if you take the witness stand and testify, but you can't testify. You can only ask a question, okay?
Well, motion, you can't bring in a photo of me and my family and talk about, this ain't no Josh Golden.
Okay, well, now you're testifying. Please don't testify.
Well, bring Josh Golden in and have him say he was in my house. Let me see those pictures again. Yeah, I'll testify to you.
Again, you'll have a chance to testify if you choose to, but, yeah, don't testify now.
Your Honor, I don't recall if they were received, but I'm moving for Exhibit 78 to be not received.
Any objection?
Yeah, can you pull up, don't just bring some photos of 5 black people in the kitchen saying, did one of them Josh Golden.
What's your objection?
My objection, those pictures didn't come off, no Josh Golden, like, man, Josh Golden.
Okay, now you're testifying. You may disagree as to who's
I was
out.
bringing in false evidence in the courtroom.
Okay, right.
This is crazy, man.
Making statements, can stop making statements.
Y'all teaming up on me, y'all went and got fake
Okay,
photos.
please be
with
quiet.
real photos.
Be quiet, I'll have to ask you to step out of the courtroom. You're not going to be quiet. The motion is to have the exhibits received, they'll be received and then identified and as photographs that this witness took off of your Facebook page, all right?
Well, Josh Golden was subpoenaed, bring Josh Golden in.
You'll have a chance to present witnesses, that's what we're doing right now, it's your case, okay?
Thank you. Investigator, I'm going to hand you the exhibits again and focusing on Exhibit 78. Can you describe where in the photograph you see Josh Golden?
He's on the far right side.
Can you
If you're
describe
looking,
what color shirt he's wearing or any other identifying articles of clothing?
red shirt and a baseball cap, looks like.
And that's to the far right of the photograph.
Yes.
Your Honor, I request permission to publish to the jury at this time.
You can use the elbow or pass.
We haven't been able to get the elbow
Okay.
source, so I would pass.
All right,
What's the elm?
that's the projector right there.
Oh, yeah.
Just the one.
So you may need to ask one of your.
Investigator, how are you able to determine that the person in Exhibit 78 to the far right wearing the red shirt is Mr. Golden?
Looking at Golden's profile pictures on his Facebook page.
Your Honor, I would request permission to also publish to the jury Exhibit 79.
It's been received between past one jurors.
Objection. That is not Josh Golden.
Okay, it's overruled, you're testifying in. I'm gonna instruct the jurors to disregard any statement Mr. Barker makes from his seat there. He's not under oath, he may only testify and give facts in this case by being on the witness stand under oath, okay? So I must instruct you to disregard the things he's saying, which are facts he believes, which would, it's testimony, it can't be given from where he is. He has to submit himself to get on the witness stand, be under oath, and then he can testify, okay? So disregard his statement.
Can I see that exhibit, those exhibits?
Minute for being passed to one of the jurors.
Investigator for Exhibit 79, did you determine that was Joshua Golden in the same manner as Exhibit 78 by comparing known photographs of Mr. Golden?
Yes,
And that was from his Facebook page?
yes.
Give it back to me, please. Oh, that's right. You're supposed to pass the other one, sorry.
Sorry.
About to add it. Okay,
And Your Honor, I have no other questions.
all right.
Yes, I would like to see that exhibit, please.
Here's one of them. Here you are, Mrs. Clerk. Can you take this, please? Yeah, the other one's being passed among the jurors, okay?
Okay. So the other one you're saying Josh Golden, both of them? Both of them?
I'm not the witness.
Well, you're saying on both of these photos, Josh Golden is both in both of these photos, correct? Can I see that, newspaper?
That was marked, it wasn't used, though, if I recall.
So exhibit 66. And you say Josh Golden is the guy in the red?
Let's show that to Mrs. Johnson, please. Other one, please. Just show it to Ms. Johnson, please. No, show it to the jury, you're showing it to the witness.
Oh,
Okay, and that exhibit, the journal time was never received as evidence, okay? It has to be offered, received, and then you ask it to be published and shown to the jury, all right? Now, what is your question? The witness has the exhibit, and the exhibit number.
Is
the
that
witness
Josh
is-
Golden?
What is the exhibit number, please? For the witness,
66?
is that right?
Yes,
Answer, please.
yes.
Okay. Now he's looking at the second page, and what do you want him to look at on the second page? There's a number of things on the second
There's
page.
3 photos, me, Josh Golden, and a vehicle. So you're saying that photo, which if I knew y'all were gonna make a fake photo, I would have brought the photo.
Clerk, Rhonda?
So you're saying this guy right here is Josh Golden?
Yes.
No further question. I just would like to, bring Josh Golden, please.
Call witnesses, that's what we're doing right now. All right? Thank you. Investigator, you may step down from the witness stand. Mr. Barker, other evidence or witnesses?
Yes.
Who do you want to call
Josh
next?
Golden.
Your Honor, in recess before Mr. Golden testifies.
All right, okay. So there's some legal issues that we have to talk about between the court and parties about this witness before we go forward. I'll ask you to step up briefly, please. So we'll be able to get back to the See in the hallway there or no? Have come in, please, we're waiting.
All right. Mr. Bonal, you were out in the hall, were you looking for Mr. Golden?
No, I went to go have a seat by the window.
Okay, all right,
Talk to his mom.
all right. Mr. Parker, in terms of his presence, did you subpoena him?
Yes, I subpoenaed him.
Did you see him today? Was he here?
I didn't see him today.
Okay. So are you able to produce him?
If he ain't in the hallway, how am I gonna do it? I mean, apparently y'all know that.
Well, we don't know that.
I don't got his phone number.
Have you had contact with him to know whether he'll be here today or not?
I just had him served.
You have
And
served,
then y'all just had him served.
you have the served subpoena?
Now you're gonna be digging on his papers. Adam.
Johnson, did the state serve a subpoena on him?
I did.
Did he respond to it, to your office?
He did. He did provide a phone number, but then I had investigators, Vandervest contact him and indicated he would not come.
Would not
Would not for the state.
come for the state?
Right. I can give Mr. Barker the phone number that I was provided from my office. I didn't speak to Mr. Holden directly. He wants to try calling him.
Yes, I do.
You want to try to obtain his presence? We can help you try to do that. We're doing that now by getting the phone number, but I need your served subpoena to show that he was served.
Yes, I will.
You have that?
I don't have it, but I don't bring it up. I didn't think I need to, but I thought once they served, they good.
We need the documents in order to do anything here. You could ask for a material witness warrant, and we could issue a warrant and send a squad car out to look for him briefly, but without the served subpoena, I can't do that.
Y'all said we have to do this, man. Let me go in the hallway.
You go out in the hall and call, wait a minute before you come back in and let us know what you got. He needs his phone.
Should be in the group page.
Anyway. Man, you see this shit here? They bring out a
What they
picture
want you to call
of my
Joshua?
dead cousin, and they brought a picture of my dead cousin, and that was Eugene.
What do they want, what do they want,
You gonna use the phone to call him?
Yeah, I need to come.
you to,
Drop the live like that. They should drop the
Man.
Two different
What do they
people.
want you to
That is
call,
two
damn,
different
I can't
people in the
remember.
pictures.
Think I'll have to get that in number,
Who are the people in the picture?
One of them is Eugene,
One
and
of
then the
them
other one
is
is my cousin.
Eugene, that's in the group photo, and the other one that's by itself is a man that passed away years ago named Simeon. That is crazy.
That's so crazy. Josh, this move, man. Man, look, fam, they down here trying to play me, man. I really need you to come down.
Right
They
away.
didn't show some pictures of two other dudes talking about that's you, me and you in my kitchen,
Taking a shot.
taking a shot, like me and you together. You know what I'm saying?
tell them Dan to come pick them up if they ain't got no ride.
Man, would you, because like they trying to trick the jury into believing like me and you was doing something together. You know what I'm saying? So I just need you to come down here and just get on the stand, just like, this ain't me in this photo. I ain't got no other questions for you. You know what I mean? All I want, all you gotta do is just come look at these photos, and you probably know who they is in the photo too. They show the picture of us. Huh? Yeah, but I'm just saying, can you come down here?
Tell him Barry.
All right, man.
What'd you say?
Yeah, all right.
What'd you say?
He told me he got his kids. He couldn't make them. Bring the kids with you. What's Eugene number?
I don't know Eugene number.
Who did you say?
I'm trying to get Damien number. I can't get this shit done made me nervous. I can't even think.
Tell him to bring the kids. I'll babysit. Ain't got no problem babysitting. Just gonna lie like that, boy. That's a drop the case right there, lying like that.
Yeah.
Two different men. Two different men with third man as the actual person. That is just
Who
crazy.
can I get Eugene number from?
I'm trying to think. How do I go on here and get that one?
What's Eugene name on Facebook?
I don't
Just
know.
call him back and tell him to bring the kids and ask
Man,
him.
How do I get Damien up on my Facebook? Shit, I can't even think right now. Y'all got me.
You ain't. Tell him to bring the kids. Right, brother?
Yeah, bring the kid. I babysit him. They just play the guy. I ain't never seen nothing like that. That's crazy.
I knew right away when they pulled that picture. He walked past me, I seen it. I knew right away, like, they gonna say somebody in that group photo. And plus, that picture's not even clear.
Call him and tell him to
Tarina
bring the
took
kids,
that
how many
picture.
kids you got with him.
Tarina know him?
Tarina.
Who's Tarina?
That was Christmas and.
Whoa, how do I get
Okay, well, what about Tarina? Tarina knows.
Just all the family there.
Okay, well, what about Tarina? Don't she know?
I texted her, she didn't text me back.
That one part, I need that one part that Damien on. Damn, what is it? It's the,
Call him back and tell him
okay,
to bring
say
the
like
kids. Or ask him to.
somebody send you something.
The Mexicans beat him up, I think, about. I think it's some shit on.
Mm-hmm.
Beat you up.
Josh?
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first, like I said, that was the first time.
They beat him up about what? Okay, man, that's what I'm looking for on Facebook to get to Damien. It's that one thing when people be sending you, like they'll say,
Out there, Josh King.
they want to send you that one thing.
They throwing me off with all this crazy shit.
Let me
But
go.
if the jury, like, look at the picture, like, come on, man.
Did they give the pictures together or separate?
Together, I think,
They seen both of them, separate.
well, they should see
Separate.
that they do two different
Two
people.
different people.
Right.
Come on now. And I know
And now,
that picture's
see,
not
that's what-
clear. There's no perceived it.
Right.
What do I do now?
I got
Call
your
him
back
back and
better.
ask him, can he bring the kids?
I got
Just
your
call him
back.
back and ask him,
I
can he
got
bring
your
the
back.
kids?
Now, what you gonna do? I'm gonna bring you up, man. You do that.
Hey.
Well, bring me up, what I'm gonna do?
Call him back and ask him, can he bring the kids?
Well, I mean, what I'm gonna
Run
do,
down,
y'all.
take that motherfucker. What's your name? What's your?
But who?
John. Man, I never say shit to me.
Who are the people in the photograph?
That's my cousin that died, and my cousin that just left here, Cicely. That's her first cousin that's died. Let me call her Cicely. And that died. His girlfriend killed him in Minnesota, and then that other boy is running around here right now. Let me see if Cicely can get in touch with that's Cicely's first cousin that they got that picture of.
I'm saying you use it.
Hey, you're not off the record here, but you can tell that's not on the record, right? So, if you work this out, you gotta do something, you can use that video.
Man, I don't have no relationship with her. I can show who the people is in the photo.
You can't testify, that's your problem. You want to put someone else in the witness stand and identify the people, you can do that. That might be a way to do it, okay? Try to help you here.
Okay, yeah. I call mine to witness stand.
Where you're from?
Harold West.
Okay.
We need to address for priors.
Okay.
So we'll go back on the record, the jury's not present, the attorneys are, we've been discussing this situation. The court has suggested to Mr. Barker how he might be able to do this. He has decided he wants to play a video, or have some witness look at those pictures, is that what you want to do?
Yes, I can, the pictures that.
Talking about 78 and 79, right?
Yes, I can provide names of the people.
You can't provide them, you can have a witness do it though, if you want to have a witness look at them,
Okay,
all right? So is that how you want to proceed here?
yes.
All right.
At the minimum, Josh Golden, there was a few officers that I want to be cross-examined, but I don't want to wait there. I want to make sure when I come Monday, I have everything.
The only thing we're going to do on Monday is Josh Golden, so if you have other witnesses, we're going to do them now, okay?
Okay, no,
Right.
no, I'm going to do it today.
We'll take a short recess here.